Hello everybody and welcome back to Pure Farming 2018. This is the pre-alpha build, so this is certainly not the full game, and basically what we're going to be doing is just taking a very small look at every country which we're going to be going to in the final release of the game. And I think we get to do a couple of jobs on some of these, and some of them we just do one job. We've done Italy, so if you've missed that episode, please go back on my channel and see that one first, as I've already explained in that one certain aspects about this trial version. But today we're going to be moving on to Colombia. Now Colombia is where we're going to be doing the coffee bean harvest. It does actually give you some information about various tractors and other in-game stuff when the game is loading, but usually it loads so fast I don't have time to read it. Anyway, first things first, we're going to be using the Forager. The mission name is Jungle Fire. I suppose we're going to have to find out why. The Forager is to our right hand side just here, and over in the corner there is a coffee bean harvester. Before we move, we're just going to have to take a look at our tablet, and it is basically telling us the same stuff as before. However, the task list is different. So it says harvest a full trailer load of crops from the hemp field. Obviously this is the legal stuff, which is used for things like textiles and medicines, that sort of stuff. Maybe not what you're thinking, but what we're going to do is sell the hemp at the purchase centre, harvest crops from the coffee field, sell the coffee at the purchase centre. W, S, A and D for the controls, look around with the mouse, left shift for running, and then of course we get into the Forager by pressing E. So I think we are going to be doing some coffee bean harvesting later, which I'm really looking forward to, but first we've got to go and do the harvest of the hemp. So if we just go over to the Forager, we'll jump into it. It does start on its own. If you haven't watched my first video set in Italy, then yeah, like I say, I really do recommend that you go and watch that first of all, just because I explained what the trial version and the pre-alpha build is all about. This is not the full game, so please don't base the game purely on this. It's just to show us the progress of this current project. So we now need to fit this onto here, press G, and then we've got to reverse these Metal Tech DB8 trailers, or trailer, which I have never been too good at, but still, I'm sure we can get out of the yard one way or another, even if it means driving in a fairly bad way. I've just never been too good at reversing them. And I think actually it does tell us this later. It actually warns us that the trailer is hard to reverse. Right, so let me just go back onto the tablet, because I think there is some more information. Yes, harvest a full trailer of hemp. Drive to the front of the field, switch to front device mode by pressing 1 and start the combine with F. You'll find the location of the field on the minimap in the lower left corner of the screen. And it does tell us how to attach the trailer and the header, but we've already done that, so that is absolutely fine. We don't need to go reading those messages as well. So the area which we have been given is fairly restrictive, just because of it being a trial version and the fact that this is still the pre-alpha build. Obviously the release of the full game, which isn't even until mid-March of 2018, will obviously be the full thing. It won't just be certain areas. Oh, there it is, that's where we need to go to. So it's looking like quite a lush crop, looks productive and everything. And then once we've done this, we need to go and sell it. So that's what we'll be doing when the trailer is full. So first things first, we need to of course start up the machine. Then we press F to engage everything. The header and the pipe come up at the same time, unfold at the same time, and it starts to throw the chaff into the trailer behind us. Now I believe the capacity of the trailer is 9,000 litres. Well, actually no, this game does it in kilograms. 9,000 kilograms, I think. It's either 8 or 9. It doesn't really matter either way, but that is still quite a good capacity. Seems very impressive. This is the Gomzel Mash FS8060 and the Metal Tech DB8. The header is the Gomzel Mash FS8060 as well. Maybe it just has the same name. So yeah, the litres of diesel are all shown at the bottom of the speed, the fill capacity, And I think when we're actually full, we're going to have to transfer this over to a tractor, since it would seem a bit strange taking this over to the sell point with the Forager. Now I would come out of the field, but with it being the pre-alpha build, being able to lift the header hasn't been integrated just yet, so I'm just going to turn the corner and hope that the header doesn't fold up, because it will do if I don't stay in the field. So I should think there'll be a couple of laps of the field before we're actually full. You can see the fill rate currently at 3 tons, which is actually quite fast. That is filling up very fast, and you can see the textures and everything, the way the chaff is filling up the trailer. Seems to be quite good. I would say that is like a fill plane where it fills it evenly, but it's very hard to tell. It is obviously filling fairly evenly. I'm not really too worried about going too straight, which is a good thing because I'm not going too straight at all. But it just gives you an idea of the way the crops feed into the header, the way that they come out the back. It seems pretty good, especially for pre-alpha. I'm going to leave most of the opinions to you though. I'm not really going to give my opinion too much. I know personally what I think of the game so far. I'm going to wait and see what everybody else thinks and see if they agree with me. I will say in a future video. That does seem quite good though, the way it's feeding it in. Now one thing I am desperate to see, which I don't think we're going to be able to see in the trial version, is ploughing. I would love to see what the furrows look like. Whether they're 3D, 2D, or, well, you can't really get anything else. They're not really going to be 4D. I don't think they're going to be jumping out the screen at us, but still. Yeah, 2 or 3D. That would be unfortunate, getting hit by a furrow. It would also be very strange. Okay, so 7,414 kilograms at this stage. It's a very tall crop. Very tall indeed. And yes, I think we're not going to get back down to the bottom, but it doesn't really matter too much. Just as long as we get a full load. In fact, that's it. That is it. So, if I just reverse up a bit here, we should be able to drop the trailer off. We may have to shut the machine down first. We do indeed. And then I think it's just going to be a case of driving this to the bottom of the field so we can bring the tractor up here without driving through the crop too much. It tells you the remaining crops, and also actually does tell you at some stage the complete status of each field. Irrelevant at this stage of the game, because obviously we're not harvesting and then ploughing and everything. It is just a restricted trial version, but it would tell you how much of it is sprayed, how much of it is sown, cultivated, harvested, all of that kind of stuff. Quite interesting stuff, really. Now you can walk between each vehicle if you want to, but I'm just going to tab between them. And as I did mention in the previous episode, over in Italy, the cameras actually do seem quite good. However, the one in cab is a bit too zoomed in. This is as zoomed out as I can get it. But on the whole, not too bad at all. But yeah, this really does show you how tall this crop is. There you go. There is the information about our fields. All of them being 89 or 90%, except for spraying, which is 0%. So maybe this could have been an even more productive crop. This is the Zeta Proxima 120. I think with Zeta the number actually does reflect the horsepower, so I'm assuming it's 120 horsepower, which would make sense, going by the physical size. It's got the front linkage as well. It seems to be quite heavily detailed, and what I am going to do actually, once we have fit the trailer to the tractor, I think we have to be, there we go, is jump out, and I'm going to have a look at everything in closer detail. They do seem to be very well designed. There's even weathering on the tyres, on the rubber. Seems nice. Right, so what we're going to do is take this down to the sell point, and then we can go and do a coffee bean harvest. At least that's what I'm hoping. Let's just jump back into the tractor. A nice full trailer load. There are 2 other places that we can visit, 2 other countries. We've still got Japan and the USA to cover. They're going to be in future episodes which are coming up very soon. So stay tuned for those. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, leave a like. It's always appreciated. Right, so the way to go to the sell point is just over here. This is a very in-depth game, by the way. You really do have to keep on top of everything. You can't really be slack about jobs, because if you are, they're not really going to succeed. And it isn't just crops which you get in the field. We've also got orchards. There are animals as well. And the fields, the crops which we do get in the fields are obviously very different to what we're used to. Coffee bean harvesting does seem to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to it. Right, it does actually get quieter as well when you're in cab view. This is where we need to be. If we drive up this ramp nice and slowly, then we should be able to tip the trailer load. We could have come in from the other way looking at it, but it should still be fine. So if I just go onto here, it does tell us, I believe, on the tablet. Yes, what we have to do is press 2 to select the rear device mode, then press F. And we get to sell the load. You can see our money is going up. Not by too much, but it isn't very expensive. There we go. So we've sold 1,280 euros of the hemp, and yeah, it's gone pretty well. This is for industrial use, and like I say, I think it is used for making rope, medicines, textiles, and there are other stuff as well. Many different things for that crop. Now what we're going to do this time is go back over to our yard, pick up the Skyberry Combine, which is the coffee bean harvester, get that started up and drive over to the coffee plantation. You can simply tab to each vehicle, but I'm going to drive to it. Right, so the moment I have been waiting for. Interesting, the physics do actually react to heavy braking. Nice to see. Right, okay. So here it is, quite an interesting machine. Now the coffee plantation, I don't believe I have seen fully yet. I think it might be the field just down here on the, well, turn right and then it's on the left hand side, if I'm correct. I did see something that looked a bit like a coffee plantation. Look at that engine on the back. That is a very interesting thing. In fact, I'm going to have to get out. I've got to see that. Is it possible to jump? Maybe not at this stage, but certainly I want to see that engine. Don't judge me, I am just interested in that kind of thing. Maybe it is actually easier to see it from in cab view, or just when we're in drive mode. Is it possible? Oh, there we go. Old engines like this are always very interesting. Yep, so it is the field which I thought it was, just here. This is going to be intriguing to see. So very similar actually to the vineyards. You've got to stay perfectly aligned, otherwise you're going to obviously wreck the crop. And I'm assuming it's also the same controls as the grapes as well. So if I just press F, that is working. So you can see before the crop goes through the harvester, it's got the coffee beans, and then afterwards it's been harvested. Certainly something very new, this, and I don't think anybody could argue about the textures and the graphics. They do seem to be very impressive, unlike other farming games which have come out over the past few years, not naming any, but yeah, there are a few which haven't really been as anticipated. Others have been absolutely fantastic. Look, it's animating the coffee beans falling into the storage compartment below. So it looks like we're going to be getting roughly 7,000 kilograms of coffee beans from this. Continuing down the next, what would it be called? Would it be a vine? I'm not too sure actually. Coffee plant, I suppose. The next row of coffee bean plants. Feeds through the centre of the machine, and as it goes along, the machine removes the beans. Right, so that is 7,000 kilograms. Just a tiny bit more to go, and then we need to go and sell the coffee. About 500 kilograms left, I believe. And that is it. So if I switch it all off, then we should be able to now go over to the sell point and get some money for these. Now I would expect the money to be quite good. I don't really know what coffee beans are worth, but you would expect it to be quite high. Somewhere up here, so we're going to adventure a bit further. I meant to say explore a bit further, but yep, we are adventuring. And I suppose actually it's not going to be as simple as just simply going wherever we want to. If I just zoom out, we should be able to see the exact point. Yeah, so what we're going to have to do is go left at the end of here and then go back around the other way, which is a bit of a drive. Now I'm assuming when this is actually the full game we'll be able to unload it straight into a tractor and trailer. This is because it's just the introductory mission. It's quite a nippy thing though, 31 kilometers per hour. At least going this way we'll be able to explore quite a bit of the map. Get to see a bit more of Colombia. Now I don't know if I've mentioned before, but you see these Pure Farm banners which are whizzing about on the boundaries. That's just because it's a trial version, from what I can gather. Here is the bridge, so if we go over this bridge we'll be able to then access the sell point, which is not too far over the other side. And if you didn't watch episode number 1 where I showed you the water, I should be able to show you it in a second. So there you go, you can see the quality of the water there. It does look very good. Just zoom in again, slow down. Seems very nice indeed. Right, we'll take the next left. Not quite sure what that is. It might be a water tower of some form. Yep, sell coffee is the final objective for Colombia in the trial version, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. It's actually amazing how, even though we're just being given a snippet of each map and each job, it really is explaining itself very well. Right, so I think we do just drive through, yep, and then I suppose first person view is going to be better just while we're driving in. Stop here. I'll try and figure it out for myself. I think number 2 and then F. Yep, I'm getting used to it. And that is all selling. The money is indeed rocketing up. 30,399 euros, and that is the task finished. Scenario complete. So that is it for this video, and of course, yep, thank you for playing. We're going to be returning in the next episode where we're going to be heading over to the USA, and we're going to be doing some other stuff over there as well. Now, I probably should mention at this point, if you haven't already pre-ordered the game, it might be worth it if you are wanting to get the game in the first place, because you do get the bonus map and a few bonus machines as well. You get to head over to Germany if you pre-order. So yeah, there we go. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again very soon. Bye for now.